How many millions of people are fraudulently receiving Social Security checks, and why is the left throwing a massive temper tantrum about revelations of this fraud? Michael Snyder reports, one of the biggest scandals in the history of our government is starting to be revealed, and the implications are enormous. According to the Social Security Administration, more than 71 million Americans are receiving Social Security checks, and according to the Centers for Medical and Medicare Services, more than 68 million Americans are enrolled in Medicare. But the most recent census conducted by the U.S. Census Bureau found that there were only 55.8 million people that were age 65 or older living in the United States in 2020. Obviously, there's something seriously wrong with these numbers. We should be so glad that Elon Musk and his team are looking for fraud in the system, because it appears that we are being ripped off on a massive scale. There are also more than 71 million Americans that are enrolled in Medicaid, and more than 42 million Americans are on food stamps. Many of us suspect that there is a tremendous amount of fraud going on in those programs as well. But for today's article, I'd like to focus on Social Security. At a recent rally in Wisconsin, Elon Musk brought a DOGE official named Antonio Garcias on the stage, and Garcias discussed a large chart that was entitled New Non-Citizen Social Security Numbers Issued. After handing out the money, Musk brought friend and DOGE colleague Antonio Garcias on stage to discuss the work he has done with the federal government Social Security system. Shortly after Garcias joined Musk, a large graphic that read New Non-Citizen Social Security Numbers Issued was illuminated on the screen behind them. And according to Garcias, millions of people that are not citizens of this country have been getting Social Security numbers. In fact, more than 2 million non-citizens were granted Social Security numbers during fiscal year 2024 alone. Garcias was referring to the total number of non-citizens who received Social Security numbers between fiscal year 2021 and fiscal year 2025. The chart showed a steady year-over-year increase under Biden, reaching more than 2 million in fiscal year 2024, which ended September 30th. Financial year or fiscal year 23 saw roughly 1 million non-citizens issued Social Security numbers, as did fiscal year 2025, which began in October and will end in September of this year. This literally blew us away, Garcia said. We went there to find fraud, and we found this by accident. This should not be happening, but it is. Even more alarming is the fact that large numbers of Social Security numbers have been stolen from the Social Security database. This blew me away when I first heard about it. Elon Musk is claiming that one particular thief, one person, you can imagine how many others did this, one person actually stole 400,000 Social Security numbers and personal information from the Social Security database. During the town hall, one Wisconsin voter named Musk asked Musk, "You found a lot of fraud in Social Security. Do you know whether the Attorney General will investigate and prosecute that fraud?" Musk responded, "I believe someone is going to be arrested tomorrow because there's someone who actually stole 400,000 Social Security numbers and personal information from the Social Security database." It was selling Social Security, and he was selling Social Security numbers and all the identification information in order for people to basically steal money from Social Security. This is a particular avenue of fraud for illegal immigrants and voter fraud, because the main way you identification is established in the U.S. is via Social Security. If you comprise the Social Security system, you can basically get people to get de facto registered to vote, even if they're not citizens, and get a bunch of benefits and to milk the system. This is pretty insane, Musk said. Why is this the first time that we're hearing about this? If thousands upon thousands of Social Security numbers have been bought and sold online, that's a major national security breach, in my opinion. There are apparently many elder Americans that are not currently receiving Social Security checks because fraudsters claiming to be them are getting those checks instead. According to Musk, fraudsters that are impersonating retirees are calling in all day, every day, quote unquote. They steal people's Social Security is what happens, Musk said in a Thursday exclusive interview on Fox News. Special report with Brett Bayer. They called in, they claim to be a retiree, and they convince the Social Security person on the phone to change where the money is flowing. It actually goes on to some fraudster. This is happening all day, every day. And then somebody does not receive the Social Securities because of that, of all the fraud loopholes in the Social Security system. I had no idea that things were this bad. And according to DOGE, engineer named Aram Mogadisi, 40% of the calls that are coming into the Social Security Administration are in fact from the fraudsters. DOGE engineer Aram Mogadisi added in the interview, at Social Security, one of the first things that we learn is that they get phone calls every day of people trying to change direct deposit information. So when you want to change your bank account, you can call Social Security. We learned 40% of the calls that they get are from fraudsters. The good news is that Elon Musk and his team are trying to fix the system. For example, a major cleanup of Social Security records is being conducted right now. Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, announced on Monday that almost 10 million Social Security records have now been updated. In a post on X, DOGE says the Social Security Administration has been executing a major cleanup of records over the past 4 weeks. Approximately 9.9 million number holders, all listed age 120 plus, about 10 million people, can you imagine, have now been marked deceased. Another about 2 million to go, the Post said. You would think that cleaning up the system to eliminate fraud and abuse would be something that we could all get behind. But of course, the truth is that the left is totally freaked out. They absolutely hate what DOGE is doing, and Elon Musk says that he's been receiving thousands of death threats per day. There were quite a few death threats, I have to tell you. I was like, my security team said, well, it's actually going down from yesterday to today. It went down from 18,000 to 17,000. So I'm like, well, maybe it's getting better. But you can see how crazy some of these people are, Musk said. There are so many unhinged people in our society right now, and Democrats in Congress will continue to stir up even more emotion because they have no intention of altering their rhetoric. In fact, Senate Democrats will be setting up a war room, quote unquote, in order to pummel the GOP on the changes to Social Security that are being made. The war room will serve as a central hub for Senate Democrats to plan messaging, create content, provide oversight, make field visits, and host town halls to pummel the GOP on the issue. Nobody that's legitimately receiving Social Security benefits will lose them as a result of the reforms that are happening. In fact, as fraudsters are caught, we could actually see benefits getting restored to many elderly Americans that should have been properly receiving them in the first place. But we could also potentially see millions of people that are fraudulently abusing the system get cut off. I believe that this is the primary reason why the left is throwing such a massive temper tantrum over this. If millions of fraudsters suddenly stop getting their money, we could witness their monthly checks, we could witness a frightening nationwide explosion of anger. And of course, this is potentially just one element of a perfect storm that could cause rampant chaos to erupt in cities all over America. And we're already witnessing widespread political violence and civil disorder, and I expect it to get much worse in the months ahead. Michael Snyder reports on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. About the author, Michael Snyder's new book, a blockbuster entitled Why, is available in paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He also has written 8 other books available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of Future America, The Beginning of the End, Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help support the work he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News. And he always freely and happily allows others to publish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.